All right, so if you remember the optimal provision of a private good, marginal rate of substitution for B was equal to MRS of J, which is equal to marginal cost. But for public goods, it's not like that. Here, we don't equate the various marginal rate of substitution to the marginal cost, but rather we add the marginal rate of substitutions and then we equate it to the marginal cost. Okay, so that is the difference between the optimal provision of a private good and then a public good. For private good, the marginal rate of substitution should all be equal to the marginal cost. But for a pure public good, the summation of the marginal rate of substitution should rather be equal to the marginal cost. Let's look at an example, how to get the optimal quantity of a pure public good. Now, this good is going to be enjoyed by two people, Andy and then Bob. Then per their preference, Andy's marginal benefit from the good is 12 minus Z. Z is the quantity of the good, of the public good. And then Bob's marginal benefit is 8 minus 2Z. The marginal cost of producing this good is 16. Okay, is 16. So we have to find the efficient level of this good. Okay, what is going to be the efficient quantity of this service that will be provided? Now, the condition is that we add their marginal benefits, then we equate it to what? To the marginal cost. If this was to be a pure private good, for pure private good, if you want to find the quantity that Andy will buy, equate Andy's marginal benefit to marginal cost. You solve for the quantity that Andy will buy, then you go to Bob, equate it to marginal cost, and then you find the quantity that Andy will buy. But here, the quantity is fixed, but it's the price that they will pay that varies. So the marginal benefit for Bob, you have to add it to that of Andy, equate it to the marginal cost, and then you solve for the quantity that will be provided. So we add 12 minus Z to 8 minus Z, then we equate it to 16. So please, when we solve for this, what are we getting for Z? What will be the value of Z? Yes, anybody? Just solve for this equation and give me the value of Z.
I think it will be 2.
It's 2, so it means that 2 will be provided, 2 units of this good will be provided. Now, in case you have to find the price that they are willing to pay towards the provision of this service, you come and put your 2 here. For Andy, Andy is willing to pay 10. That is 12 minus 2. So if it's in this is in dollars, so he's willing to pay what? Pay $10. Now, let's come to this guy. 8 minus what? 8 minus 4, right? So that's going to be what? Is it 4? 8 minus 4, so 4. If you add 4 to 10, are you sure this thing will give us 2? $20 minus 16, right? Which is 4, 2. But then if you put them here, you're not getting 16. When we add the 2, we are supposed to get the marginal cost. Hello.
Hi.
But I mean, how come we equated this to 16? But well, this is 8 minus z, not 2z. If you look at what they did here, it's 8 minus z. So if it's 8 minus z, then Bob's marginal benefit will be 6, and that of Andy will be 10. So if you add the two, that should equal to the marginal cost of producing that. So that's how we get the optimal quantity for the pure public good. All right, now we call something the Lindalian solution to the problem of providing public goods. Now, one, because the marginal cost of providing a public good is 0, on the grounds of efficiency, if you're a private firm and you produce a private good, the price of that good must be 0. Okay, it has to be 0. And as a result, people don't intend, or people are not willing to produce such goods. So now, before the private sector can even help in the production of such public goods, the people that are going to be affected by the good, those who are going to get benefits from the good, should come together and give out their true, they have to reveal the true benefits that they get from that good. So just like the example that we saw, Andy is willing to pay $10, and then Bob is willing to pay $6 so that they can produce that service that they are both going to benefit. That price that they pay, we call it the Lindalian price, or the personalized price. So those are the prices. Those are the valuation, their respective valuation of the benefit that they are getting from that. So if you feel like you'll be getting more benefit from the good, then you'll be willing to pay more. But then if you feel like you are not getting much benefit from the good, then you have to pay less. So before this can actually work for the private sector to provide the public good, the people should truly review their benefit that they get from the good. Because if you don't do that, it's going to be very difficult for you to get the necessary amount of money that you need to cater for the provision of that good. So these Lindalian prices are based on the assumption that people will truly review the benefit that they get from the good. But if they don't, then we have issues as to whether we can produce the public good or not. So if you look at this diagram here, we just saw that if we are going to produce a private good, quantity J, then this is the price that individual A is willing to pay. There's a price that individual B is willing to pay. So assuming this is the marginal cost, the market's price, okay, the total price that they are willing to pay. Now, there are two scenarios here. It's possible that when you add, assuming this is the marginal cost of producing that good, like the example that we saw, let's take this marginal cost to be 16. Assuming Bob is willing to pay 4, and then okay, I think the one that we did, he was willing to pay 6. So let's take 6, and then Andy was willing to pay 10. So when we add these two, we get 60, which will be exactly equal to the marginal cost. When it happens like this, fine, we can produce the service. But what if Bob was only willing to pay $4, and then Andy was willing to pay 10? Then we'll have 14, which will correspond to this dotted line, and that will be lower than the marginal cost that is required to produce the good. When it happens like this, the good might not be able to be produced, so they will need a third party. And here they normally entreat the government to come in, to come and support them. So here the government will have to pay the extra $2 so that the good can be produced. Okay, at times too, if we have very rich people in the society, then they should be willing to pay more than even how they value the good so that they can produce. There are cases where, assuming this guy was willing to pay 8 and this guy was willing to pay 10, then we'll have 18, which is rather more than the marginal cost of producing that good, which means that after they take out the 16, they can use the $2 to produce or fund another public good. Okay, so this is how we use the Lindalian prices to get the optimum quantity of a public good. All right, so this is the explanation that I was giving. When we add up the Lindalian prices and it falls short of the marginal cost, the government can set in, okay, or the rich can also choose to pay more just to make sure that the good is being provided for. Okay, being provided for. And then if we have more than what we need to, we can channel the remainder into provision of other goods. So that solution, that equilibrium is called the Lindalian solution. What are some of the issues, the challenges of the Lindalian solution? The first one is preference hiding. Okay, I know that you cannot prevent me from consuming the good. Okay, and as soon as the good is provided for, I can enjoy it. So we have some people called free riders. Even in school, we have people like that. When you are doing collaboration to maybe cook food or something, you see some people, they will never pay. But as soon as the thing is set, they know it will be inhuman for you to prevent them from eating. So they just come and eat. We call them free riders. So even if the person is willing to pay something, the person might not actually review the true value or benefit that he thinks he'll be getting from the good. So when it happens like that, you realize that when we add the two Lindalian prices, we might not get the market price, which will be able to cater for the marginal cost. Because if I pay less and I will still enjoy the good, I'll be maximizing my benefit. But when you do that, you don't take your time, the good might not even be able to. So people hide their preference. They don't actually state the true benefit that they get from the good. And then the second issue, the free ridership. We have a free rider when that person doesn't actually review. Oh God. Hello, can you guys, the data is even off. Why? Every 2 seconds, light out. No, it's because of the war in Ukraine.